The toughest part of the Ghostbusters game on the Commodore 64 was not so much being true to the movie or such, it was a schedule issue. Usually when thinking about licensing a movie for a video game, you actually have the earliest copy of the script many times before they even start principal photography, so that you can get an idea of what's going to be going on and you can start the game development, because it takes longer to make a game than it does a movie in many cases. We acquired the license, and I don't remember the exact timing, but the movie was either already out or almost out when I started. Now, that means I've got to finish this game pretty darn quickly in case the movie, whether it's a flop or, somewhat successful, there's a point at which nobody remembers it anymore. You don't necessarily buy the game today for a movie that was aired 18 months ago. It's old hat, it's passé. So the only way we agreed to take the game, we had a meeting in the lab and we said, how can we make a game and get it out within like 3 months? And it turns out that I was working on a game called Car Wars. It was inspired by a novel where outside the city limits, the police had just given up and it was a free-for-all, and so you armored your cars and you added weaponry and whatever, and if you wanted to drive from San Francisco to LA, you'd better have a machine gun on your car just to get there, So I had a car and I had a cityscape, and I even had an in-game currency. You would earn money and you would buy weapons and you could go back and refit and do all these things. I had that game pretty well, 2/3, three-quarters of the way done. And I said, I can take Car Wars and I can turn it into Ghostbusters. And I said, change the car graphic to the Ghostmobile, have the in-game purchases be ghost traps and ghost vacuums and other things that are ghost-related, and have the cityscape be a top view of the map that shows the city where the ghosts are showing up on this block and that block and the flashing red, and put the gatekeeper and the keymaster walking around, and if they ever touch, you end up with this whole thing all happens. And so only because I had a very, very good head start on a particular type of game, and I was able to retask that game into Ghostbusters, was it possible to make the game in any reasonable time. Turns out I probably could have taken a year because it turned out to be such a successful concept, a successful movie, and a big property, but we didn't know that at the time. Ghostbusters, the video game, is often widely considered to be the first successful license of a movie in a video game. There were some, unsuccessful versions. E.T. was an example. That had its own reasons for being unsuccessful. But for that product and for all ongoing movie licenses every time I worked on one, it was really very simple. I didn't say, let's make a game about this movie. I said, let's make a compelling game with replay value, whether it has the movie license on it or not, and set it in the universe of the movie. And so it really gives you an inspiration for what the art is and for why the car is not just a car, it's the Ghostmobile and that sort of thing. So you make a game that would be good regardless, and you set it in the universe and use some of the imagery from it, and you've got a formula for a successful game. Then, of course, with every one of my games, I'm working 20 hours a day, I'm busting my butt to try to get this game done, and I'll think of something that, I gotta put this in. It has nothing to do with the game or whatever, and it's gotta put this in. The Transformers flip side slideshow. The game didn't need it, but I figured out I could do it, so I had to put it in. In the movie game Ghostbusters for Commodore 64, I did the title screen with Follow the Bouncing Ball movie theme song. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but basically when you started the game, it was a big Ghostbuster logo, and it started playing the theme and put the lyrics up so you could sing along. And with a little follow the bouncing ball, like from the 30s movies, you could follow along and sing. And if you pressed the space bar at any time, the Commodore 64 yelled, "Ghostbusters!" Which of course it was appropriate to do that at certain points of the song because that was in there. So you could actually play along with and sing along with the movie sound and get an entire crowd to yell Ghostbusters whenever you hit a key before you even started the game.